Okay, so someone requested the Winnie the Pooh and Piglet kit, beginning the Piglet with the magic ring from Closer Up. So we're going to try to do that. So I have the rest of my yarn from that kit, and I have the hook. So the magic ring is complicated, and if you are having trouble, there is another method you can use, which I will also demonstrate, but we're going to take the end of the yarn and lay it over some fingers. Okay. And this just goes to the rest of the yarn, the ball of yarn that you have. Take the tail, bring it around back of those fingers so that they're just straight up the back, and lay it back down along there. So at this point I have what I'll call this first loop and this second loop. This loop just goes straight back to the rest of the yarn. Nothing is crossed. So like from this side it's just this straight line back here and the tail here. So just a single loop there. Looped around. So now we're going to take our hook and we're going to go under this first loop, which is what is connected to this tail right here. I'm just holding them in place with my thumb there. So under this loop, and then grab the second loop. And I'm going to pull it, this loop, underneath this one. And as I do, I'm going to rotate my hook. So under that first loop, grab the second loop. I'm pulling it through, and I'm bringing the head of the hook down and around like that. So it's a little scoop kind of. And then you can see this loop has a little twist at the base right there. Okay. Now I need to do a chain so that I can close this. To do that, I'm going to take this whole mess that I'm holding with my left hand and I'm going to put it in my right hand. So I'm going to transfer what's between this finger and this thumb over to this finger and this thumb. So I'm just going to pinch and take this hand out. So now here's still our piece of yarn that's going back to the rest of that yarn. This is the loop that our fingers were in, and this is the tail still. Now I'm going to take this hand, put it under this finger underneath the yarn that goes back to the rest of the yarn. And then with this finger and this thumb, I'm going to pinch this whole mess. So loop and the pieces that I'm holding right here. So I got my loop kind of tucked down here. And I'm going to place all of that mess there on that finger and then pinch it with that thumb. So I'll try to hold it a little further down so you can. So I got all this and I'm just pinching that between these two fingers. Now this loop is pretty loose on this hook, so I'm going to pull this to tighten that up. And I'm going to grab this loop or this yarn that's on the front of my finger, not this one behind, but this one right here. Grab that and pull through the loop of my hook. So at this point I can let go with this hand and then let this rotate back, and that's the loop. Now, the crochets you're going to work are going to be worked by inserting your hook into this loop. So in this case, it's 5 single crochet in the magic ring. So we're going to, with the tail facing this way, let me put this down for a second. So the tail is facing this way. We got our loop here. This piece goes up to the rest of the yarn. Okay, I got this over my finger, and I'm just holding the rest of this loop with this here. I'm gonna go into it under the tail and the edge of that loop. I hold my finger here to keep this from sliding around and being annoying as I try to yarn over. Grab the yarn that is the one that's connected to the rest of my yarn up there, and scoop that through that hoop, so that what I have here is my loop, and now this yarn going through it. So just in case I did anything funky, I took it out, and again, you're going to go in, grab that yarn there, which is literally just like a little scoop. This is honestly much more difficult to do slow than it is just to do fast. And scoop that through. Yarn over. Pull through both loops on the hook. And that's 1 single crochet in the loop. You need a total of 5, so 4 more. So insert, and now it'll hold itself in place a little bit better, but pull up another loop like we did the first one. Yarn over, pull through both loops. So that's 2. Insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. 3. Do it again. And should be 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1 more. For 5. Now that that's done, you take the tail and you can lightly hold here your stitches you made and pull to tighten it up. And then you begin your next round. So this loop on your hook doesn't count as a stitch. This is the first loop, the first stitch from your hook. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first stitch that you made. And for the next round, your 2 single crochet in each stitch, this is the one that you're going to work under. So now I'm going to put that at the top. Those are my 2 loops right there. Slip under both of those loops. Pull up a loop. yarn over, pull through both loops, put a stitch marker in this stitch that you just made, because that's the first stitch of our round and this is working in the round. And then continue with 2 single crochet in each stitch around, like it says. So, I mean, this is as kind of as close as I can go with it being able to focus on what I'm doing. And it even still was losing the focus sometime. So, if this is a little complicated for your hands, sometimes it's like until you learn the skills, it's hard for your hands to hold everything and keep it where it is. Then you can do a different method, and it's perfectly fine to do. Where, let me untie this. You're going to chain 2, and put the 5 single crochet in the second chain from your hook. So, you need to make a slip knot. So, take the end of your yarn. There's a lot of ways to make a slip knot. This is just the way that I do it. I wrap the tail around my thumb like this so that it's crossed here. This is the tail that I'm holding between the end of the tail. Okay, and then I just, with the tail up here and the rest of the yarn right here, I just pinch it there between these 2 fingers, so it's just, they're just crisscross and pinch. And then I just take this, stand it up a little this way, take the loop, I pull it off the nail and over that loop that's standing up, over onto the other finger, grab that and pull. There's a lot of ways to do slip knots, but this is just the way I do it. So again, twist, stand that up, pull that over, grab that. Okay, hook in, pull it down on the hook. Now to chain 2, and you can do this instead of the magic ring, and it's okay. You just want to press back against that yarn. So take the back of your hook, the hook part of it is facing me right now. Press back against the yarn that you're holding up. This is the yarn that goes to the rest of the yarn, and I'm holding the tail here just for like stability. So press back and wrap the yarn around and catch it with the hook. Pull through the loop on your hook. That's 1 chain. Now do it again. Catching that yarn, pull through the loop on your hook, that's 2. Now this is the loop on your hook right here. These 2 side-by-side loops, this is the first chain from your hook. This is the second. So in this case, all those single crochet are going to be worked into this little dark spot, this opening of this first chain. So you just insert into that opening there. So not this one up here, but this second one over here. Okay. Insert into there. Yarn over and pull up a loop. And you can put a stitch marker in this stitch when you're done with it if you want to find it. Yarn over, pull through both loops. And then that's 1 single crochet. Here's the top of it. Why won't you focus where I want you to focus? Then again, insert into the same opening. Okay, so that one that we just went into, insert back into there for another single crochet. So that's 2. Then again, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. That's 3. And we need 2 more. So back into the same hole, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and 1 more. Okay, so now, oh, I got this little loop here that's supposed to be on my hook, so I'm just going to carefully slip this out, pull this whole section of loop up. See, because it's got like a little splintered. Pull the whole section up until I'm past the point where it was fussy. Put my hook back in, tighten back down. So now, from our hook, we have this loop on our hook that we don't count. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is right here. They tend to kind of lay on top instead of being along the outside edge for this first bit. That's okay. It really is difficult to get it to look at what I want it to look at. Okay. So at this point, we're just going to put the first single crochet of the next round into under the both loops of this stitch here. So I'm going to insert under both loops. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook, and then put the stitch marker in. To mark that first stitch of the round, and then continue with putting another single crochet into the same stitch and then 2 in each stitch around. So when you do it this way, let me put a couple more of these in here real fast. So going into the same spot, we'll do the second single crochet, and then two in the next. Wow, this yarn really doesn't want to cooperate with this right now. Okay, so, now that I've got that worked around, the point of this is to say, when you don't use a magic circle, you have like this opening here in the center that is like a hole that you can see through. And what you can do is take this end and get your needle and weave it through the stitches around the opening here like a drawstring, this, and then cinch it closed. and tie it off to make that a little less noticeable. So anyway, I don't know if this will help because this keeps being at the wrong distance. I tried my phone. I couldn't get that to work either. But that is an up close magic ring. And if that is something that doesn't work for you, you can certainly do the chain 2 and then just continue on with the rest of the rows. So I hope that it is helpful. And I don't know that there's much else with the equipment that I have that I can do as far as it being like clear and closer, because any closer and it like gets really blurry, like it won't focus that close. It's just not, I guess, not made for that. So that's that, and I hope this helps, and see you next time.